hear what it's really like to be a voice actor. It's the Voiceover Gurus podcast.
Take two. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Linda.
How are... All right. Obviously, we are in a live production studio, and this is not a big budget
affair here.
Affair, but welcome to the Voiceover Gurus podcast. We thought we would try something a little different, since Alyssa and I actually live on Long Island and
we do.
See each other fairly frequently. For her to come on down to the studio and we could be in person and actually do a podcast episode.
I'm super psyched about this.
Yeah, to be together here at the actual studio where so much coaching does happen.
And we are 2 minutes after just finishing me recording an actual VO in the VO studio of VO Gurus.
Right.
So it's really set itself up nicely for us, I would say.
It has.
It really has.
We're very lucky to have the studio. And if you have the capability to get on the YouTube channel, then you get a chance to see. We have our nice little backdrop here. This studio happens to be Dave's audio recording booth, studio booth / he does record a lot of podcasts in here with guests. And this is like his little podcast table that he's letting us borrow. So we're starting a new leaf. We're going to start spring in a different, funky way. I enjoy alcohol from time to time and thought it might be nice to bring a cocktail or drink or tea or coffee or whatever your drink of choice is.
Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly.
As
so
they say.
She's not an ice person. I have ice. Today we are doing La Croix.
Seltzer.
Raz cranberry seltzer. And
I like how Linda prefaces that with today, because for Linda, that's today.
Today.
For me, that's every day.
Today, I'm doing it. And I would normally put a little touch of this, which I would love, but we are coaching tonight. So no, I'd be asleep in 2 hours. So we're going to have a little seltzer, or as they say on Long Island, a salsa.
Salsa. Little spritz.
Yep, a little spritz.
Gotta love a spritz.
Which is actually, when you're recording, the worst thing that you could probably be drinking.
We may burp during this podcast.
That's not good. But cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the podcast.
I like it. I like this environment. It's nice. The lighting's nice.
It is. I really like this flavor too. The Raz cranberry. Isn't that nice?
Refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Refreshing.
And seriously, you put a little tequila, like even a shot in there. I think I have found my new summer drink.
That is a good summer drink. When I drank, because there were periods in my life when I did. This, for me, would be an accessory to vodka.
Ah, yeah, perfect.
I was always the vodka soda girl.
Yeah, you have the cleanness of it. And
the big vodka soda girl. And somewhere someone probably told me it was like low calorie.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for health benefits, it's the best.
It's the healthiest.
The healthiest of all the alcoholic drinks.
You know me.
You haven't drank in a while. How long's that been?
Honestly, probably a decade.
Wow. Has it been that long?
Yeah, probably a decade.
I'm trying to remember if at any parties that you've come to. I throw parties here at my house, and we have a nice small group of friends that come over and frequent them. I don't recall you drinking. Did you ever?
Maybe way in the very beginning.
Wow.
At like the OG parties.
Yeah,
but
the old days. That would be 10 plus years.
It was crazy.
No, I know.
Crazy. But yeah, I've never, honestly, in my life, I went through like these little periods where I would drink a little bit. But even in college, when everyone was ripping, no.
I never drank in college. Nothing. I studied. I was nice. And I didn't start drinking, thank you to my ex-husband, until I left my ex-husband. And I joined a divorce support group who liked to go out and drink. Next thing you know, I was like, oh, I'm going to start a martini group. And it went from there.
Listen, that's character study.
It truly is.
She became a lady who lunched.
I did.
And with that, she was a lady who lunched.
Now, that's a good thing to bring up, actually, because character study is so important. And maybe you don't realize you're doing it. But, give me your perspective on the benefits of character study.
It creates your well. That's what I really say about acting in general. acting is a well. It's either you're pulling from the well of your own emotion, right? We have a well of emotion. We have a well of sensory experiences. So you're either pulling from the well of yourself, or you build up your well through observation. Like, I can at any point have a reference for anybody. Like, there's a reference of a person that I've seen somewhere doing something. I don't have to personally know them.
Right.
I could have observed them in the line at a supermarket. And whatever about their behavior stood out so much to me that I'm just observing it, and I can call upon it and just use it.
And it's such a simple thing to do if you can start to pay attention to what's around you, even things you watch in media, you know. I just had a lesson with a student, and it was, we went over a script about the YMCA.
Okay.
And I said to her, picture yourself at the YMCA. And she'd, never been. Me, I automatically go to the YMCA, and I think about this one woman that is behind the desk, that the moment I walk in, she goes, "Hi, I'm taking the TRX class at 4:00. Want to join me?" And I'm like, "No." And I keep walking. So I think of her and her perkiness and her happiness because she loves to work at the Y or volunteer. I'm not sure the situation. So I said to the student, I go, think of that person. This person is digging the Y. This is their place. So now you need to become that person. And I mean, I'm not as obviously as trained in acting as you are, but that's how I try to get to it.
It's a great way to get to it.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get to it. When you can... You start to what actually starts to happen is you realize that people are very archetypal. Like, I can do an Italian wedding. It doesn't matter what Italian wedding it is. The same people are at every Italian wedding.
Yeah, like
there's this guy who's gonna dance like this, and then there's the aunt who thinks she's dancing, but she's really just talking about everybody. Do you see Maria's dress? Oh my God, look at her dress! But she's doing step touch while she's gossiping. Like, at every Italian wedding, it's the same characters.
Okay,
and you start to see life. Really like that, and you recognize that, like, we're all a little bit of each other.
Right.
And it becomes easier and easier to pull out those things, and like how that affects, it's when you're talking about screen acting, or that's helps in the entire physicality of it, because you actually are adapting your body, watching how people shift their weight. And but when you do that, if I were to be a person, there are people that can't put all their weight on both of their feet. It's like they're nervous, so they're shifty. Oh, okay. They're always constantly shifting weight. If you're shifting weight, your voice shifts because you're not grounded. So if ever something were to call for somebody who is anxious, a script had an anxiousness to it, or a neurotic type of voicing, shift your weight. You're automatically going to be affecting your voice.
That's so interesting. I took a class in the city years ago with a casting director, and one of the notes she gave me was sit back on your heels and ground yourself more for the read. And I had never heard of that. And it was interesting because I tried to do it. I wasn't sure if I really made the connection at the time. And lo and behold, I don't know, it just brought some sort of read that I guess was a little more earthy and human, and
it absolutely affects the voice so much. So like I think of other people that I always call upon with myself. You've met people in your life that, especially it happens more in women than men, women that constantly move their hair. They're just constantly, when they talk, they move their hair. If you go to that person who constantly moves their hair while they talk, it's the easiest way to get into that always questioning. Because I'm not really sure, is my hair in front of my face? It naturally is going to change my voice to this uncertain, questioning personality.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. And now for myself, I know I listen to voices and hear strange things, and take that with me into the booth. But having to look at a script and really break it down and think about, where am I coming from with this? You really do have to think of this character.
I say it to anyone who's listening and has taken workshops: specificity, specificity, specificity.
So explain more about specificity.
Specificity is obviously just getting as specific as possible. And it's like when I approach a script or when I'm working with, my students, get specific. See, if you don't have the point of reference in yourself, then go to finding that character. Go to seeing what they look like. How do they stand? What's the environment that they're in? If you know that this copy is directed, do you know that the copy is the character or the person or the voice speaking to the audience? Or are they doing it aside in their own head? Some copy is written as a thought in your own head. Some copy is written as speaking outwardly to an audience. Like, these are like the really important differences to make sure you know in your copy.
Right.
Because if you don't identify whether is this voice coming from inside myself and I'm kind of sharing my inner thoughts to the microphone, or I actually talking to the microphone.
And the way to indicate that is really what? You have to source it out from the words in the copy.
You have to source it out from the words in the copy.
I mean, because otherwise, if you have no direction or your specs are insanely weird or vague.
Yeah.
So here's the other part. I know students may find it a bit of a challenge to create this character every time they have an audition. And especially because there's time constraints. Are there shortcuts? Is there any way to do this?
Shortcuts are building your well, taking the time when you're not doing your auditions to build your well so that it takes absolutely no time to go to it. I'm sure you have that experience for yourself now.
Yeah.
In your own work. You don't have to think about the character anymore. You just go, oh, here's my Midwestern mom.
Right.
Oh, here's my, I don't know, sultry sex cell.
Right.
You have them, you have those keys that you could immediately go to.
And it really only comes from practice and repetition of working with scripts. I mean, that's it. There's like no other way around it. Other
than just really training yourself as a being to be in that kind of observation. I'm always in that state.
Really?
Oh, everywhere. Every restaurant I'm in, every party that I go to, every interaction that I'm having, I'm always looking, and I'm not doing it because I'm like, oh, I got to study this for my acting.
Right.
It's just, that's how you learn people.
Yeah.
And when you learn people, now you can call upon these characteristics that are pretty... it just amazes me how you start to be able to call upon them so quickly, because that's how clear they are. When you start to look at people that way, now it's like immediately you can
see.
You know where you see it a lot? You know who uses this the most? Comedians. So much of stand-up comedy are comedians that are observing what is funny about people.
Gotcha. Yep, that's true.
And then displaying and showing us what's funny about people.
Mm-hmm.
And or what's common, what's quirky. But it's a really great way to look at the world if you're going to be doing any sort of acting, any sort of creating of a character.
I know for sure I do it auditorially. I mean, because any voice, I'm constantly listening, not on purpose. It's just part of my DNA. And it annoys Matt so much to the point where he's like, I don't want to play you a song because you're going to say something about it. You're going to say something about the singer and you're going to ask questions and then I'm not going to enjoy it. And I'm like, but I'm not asking questions in a critical way. I'm genuinely curious as to why this person is singing the way they're singing or speaking the way they're speaking. It's a genuine love of it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. And then, of course, it does make it easier to just transfer it to the jobs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. It's the key. You're just building your well, and you can just pull it out.
Build the well, the arsenal.
Build the arsenal, man. Build it. Build it. But it used to be it really, again, I'm always talking about the fact that me as an actor, when I started my acting career, however many years ago, we were told by your agent, told by your manager, do not do voiceovers. It was the same thing with extra work. Don't do extra work.
It was like beneath actors, right?
It's not that it was beneath necessarily. It was just like, if you go there, you're stuck there.
Oh, like you can't get out of it.
You can't get out of it. And if that's where you go, that's where you are. And you'll
kind of
be
the perspective of radio too.
exactly like you'll start to wear this badge that says I was a real actor. And now, I went on, I get emails from all the places that do seminars and this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, wow, they're doing VO, like they're doing, not even like the seminars where you go and meet 20 agents.
Right.
Like that, but the fact that they were doing that for actors, for VO agents, I was like, what
Things have
world?
changed.
Things have really, really changed. That they're setting up these seminars for actors to be trying to get representation from VO agents.
Well, I do get actors that come in and say my agent wants me to have a voiceover demo.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because there are 40,000 voiceover jobs out there at any given time.
Yeah. And that's why it's like you're now competing in this pool of people,
right,
who are not approaching it from the place of the voice.
Yeah.
They're approaching it from the full development of all the things they're carrying as actors who have spent time doing this technique and that technique.
I mean, acting is the foundation of voiceover, voice acting. Mm-hmm. And now I feel even more so, it's even more important with AI coming in, because what is going to make us different?
Exactly.
I mean, how are we going to be different as voice actors if we do not embrace the inner actor? You have to take acting classes. You have to. It's not even like a suggestion now.
No, it's just you have to find the human quality, and it's exactly what you're saying, especially relative to AI. Side note, my brother is one of these genius computer people, and he's on like the cutting edge when it comes to understanding how you can interact with AI and what AI can do. And so he'll almost tease me because he knows I'm such the humanist. I'm like the arts and humanities person, and he'll tease me and send me these programs on what they're using to create the AI voice.
Wow.
It's even moving into songwriting, at me as a songwriter, singer-songwriter. So you just type in like glass, ice, tequila. It will give you an entire song, and then you can have the voice to sing it.
But this is insane though, because where's the connection? Where's the feeling? Where's
right?
Where is that?
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's our responsibility as those of us who carry we're like carrying this torch of you'll never be able to replicate or replace what it is that I bring behind a microphone.
There's way too many nuances in everything. And an AI voice can be programmed to do certain things and pause here and pause there, but there's no feeling.
Yeah.
You can't, they can't be programmed to feel and know on this line, I need to feel this emotion on this line. Music. I was listening, do you know that Artist Cinematic Orchestra?
Yes.
Okay. So there's that famous song, Home or whatever, I'm home, I'll be home or something.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the name of it either, but I know the song.
You know which one I'm talking about. It is effing gorgeous, okay? The thing brings me to tears. And it's been used in countless commercials, TV shows, and somehow it wound up in a wedding playlist, which is how I came across it. And I was like, I don't really think I'd want to play this at my wedding because it's beautiful, but I don't need people to take out knives and start killing themselves.
Right. Yeah.
I know it's about, love, but you feel the emotions from that. How would a computer be able to give me that?
Yeah, it wouldn't, but They're trying.
They are trying. They are trying.
So we got to make sure they can't do it.
Well, that's why you got to focus on the acting. And that's why we have that as a very strong component with the Voiceover Gurus, because you can learn technique till the cows come home. But if you do not know how to.
And all of that is it's like the totality. It's like the 360 of the training.
Yeah.
Because even in my VO session with, today, now because I am so focused on connection and emotion and feeling, you get a piece of a pharmaceutical piece like that.
How do you connect?
And it's like, how do you connect? How do you connect? But it was going to, how did I connect? Who's going to be watching this? Where are they going to be? What's the environment of the audience? And putting myself here, like I actually put myself in the audience and heard the voice that I'd be hearing as an audience person.
Oh, that's
Does that make
fascinating.
sense? Like that's how I found the read, is by actually putting myself in the chair, watching whatever the presentation was, and hearing, because we've all been in those environments where we've heard some sort of presentation.
Right.
So it was like me hearing what it would sound like and then doing it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And that makes sense, too.
Specificity.
There's your specificity. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to harp a little bit on the acting aspect just because I think people are getting very afraid of the whole AI thing. And I think if you continue to work on your craft as an actor, you will supersede. And there's going to be genres that are going to go, and that's fine.
And that's fine.
But there's a lot of other work out there. I mean, a ton of work out there. But you need to get to the top of your game to be able to compete and, rise above the numbers of people that are auditioning against you. And now, like you said, all of these actors that have come into it with that background.
Yep, are coming in. And part of it's been a gradual progression. But I will say that now when the world, went inside and now everybody was doing everything from their home, auditions were all home-based. So it was just like a natural extension. Like,
right.
Oh, let me set up a studio.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what COVID did.
Yeah. So, that added a whole other thousands upon thousands of people into the pool.
Yes.
Because it was like, oh, I'm submitting my commercial, and there was no commercial production happening in studios. There was no films happening. TV halted.
Right.
So all of, I'm going to say the working actors, and by that I mean people who are probably usually doing like your under fives or your 5 lines on CSI, like all of those consistently working actors who are able to like support themselves, but they're not the lead. Right, that have income that could last them for 3 years while it's shut down. They were like, I got to get some chips in the bank. I got to work.
Yeah.
So what was still recording? What was still going? Voiceovers.
That was the one industry that did, and finance.
And finance, right. But like it was still going, and especially that virtual turned on, people were able to do all sorts of announce things for video conferences, meetings. So
I did a few of those VOGs that were like virtual conferences.
Yeah.
And, but as humans, we adapt. We adapt to whatever comes in, and that's why we survive.
Totally.
If you're going to survive. So we changed our starter pack, our online course pack that we have. And it's the class that you take online that teaches you like the foundation, the foundational elements. Yeah. And so now, instead of offering an evaluation with it, we're actually offering 2 hours of coaching. So you get an hour with Alyssa and an hour with me.
Yay.
Yeah. So you could be brand spanking new off the street going, I don't know if I want to do this, but I want to give it a shot. And very affordable, $549. You take the course online and you get 2 hours of coaching with it too.
That's awesome.
Which
That's
is a
amazing.
good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to change that because I, like you, have been concerned about AI and everybody's talking about it. And I'm like, no. We will fight. We will fight.
Yeah, we got to stay in it to win it.
Yeah.
we got to stay in it to win it. That's really how it works. And it's this kind of thing. It serves you anywhere. Of course, our listeners are interested in VO,
right?
But you don't know where that interest will develop in life. And I know that by just approaching this and having some sort of coaching. I don't care if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate agent, a teacher. It just changes. It just changes the way you approach speaking in general.
Oh, totally.
Like, it starts to become
Brings a level of confidence.
It just serves you in so many ways in life.
We were listening to the student that was just here. We were listening to some older files. She started with me like 6 months ago. And the earlier files, I was like, see, your diction isn't great. Now you walk into this booth and you're clear. And because you're starting to train your ear to know what sounds right, what works for the voiceover. And the more you practice, the fact is, people, you got to practice.
Practicing.
Yeah, the more you do it, the students that go home and read and just read aloud, or like I say, do funny voices, just be a complete goofball. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't do anything wrong.
I wish I could remember his name. I wish I could remember this coach's name, but this is way back in the day. I couldn't have been more than 18 or 19 years old. And I went in to take voiceover lessons at this man's apartment. An agent sent me, and it was going to like this man's apartment in the city, right?
Oh, God.
And he was like, I don't know why he was held at this level, but this guy was held at this.
His name didn't start with P, was it? Peter?
No.
Okay, good. Because that guy got arrested.
Wasn't that guy. This guy was nice. I don't want to make him sound shady.
Okay, because there was another one that there's a whole
this guy was
history
super, super, super kind. But that was what I left with a lot. He actually sent me over to the Foundation for the Blind.
Oh.
Where they do a news report, right?
Okay.
And because everything is red, because they can't see. So everything is obviously red. And I would go, and that was like almost, they had so much content that they loved to hire new actors, people just exploring VO because they had constant 24/7 content.
Right.
And that was where this whole notion of every single day, pick up and read the paper aloud. Just read the newspaper out loud. Take 3 articles, because the newspaper in general is also going to train your mouth and brain in a very specific way, just because the content of a newspaper.
Right. And how it's written.
And how it's written.
Right.
Exactly. And I still do that to this day.
Really?
I still do that to this day. It's on my phone every morning. I get like the New York Times, like updates or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll be in bed. I'm totally like bed scrolling. And I'll just read it out loud.
Your diction's always been very good.
My diction's pretty good.
You reminded me, because when I was in college, University of Florida, I used to read just academic books for the blind. And I didn't, at the time, I was trying to get my psychology degree. So I wasn't even doing it to do voiceovers.
Yeah.
I was doing it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But amazing some of the stuff you do.
And it's a great practice. It also, when you get to the point, and I know you agree, like when you get to the point that you're pumping out auditions, you need to be able to have that mouth-brain connection ready to go quickly. Mm-hmm. It needs to fire up at the same time. I know for even myself, when I'm not reading or I'm not auditioning for lengths of period of time, I'm like, oh man, I got my brain and my mouth together here.
That is the easiest thing for us to recommend for you to practice. If you haven't even started doing voiceovers or training, just read aloud. It sounds so simple, but it really, really helps.
And it could be fun.
Yeah.
It could actually make something of it. It could be really fun.
All up to you. So we have workouts that we're doing, online workouts. Yay!
Sure are. So what do we have, two a month?
Yeah, we're trying to do like 2 a month. And if you guys haven't joined us for one, you definitely should. It is 2 hours, a very chill, laid-back environment.
I just hit my microphone with my drink.
And we have a good time because it's the ultimate in acceptance and allowing you to kind of spread your wings a bit. And you're only doing it in front of 5 other students. So you have that privacy. Nothing's recorded, and this is on purpose. I don't record anything because I don't want anyone to feel self-conscious at all.
It is such a great forum. I'm always excited about it. I come from conservatory. I spent my life in different kinds of acting, performance conservatory. And it reminds me. So we used to get a piece on Monday. We'd get assigned a monologue or a song or whatever. And that was it. We workshopped it with our peers.
Oh, cool.
And that's what the workouts are. You're workshopping this stuff with your peers, and everybody is learning from each other.
Yeah.
And everybody's allowed to be in the dialogue. It's open forum. If someone wants to chime in with how someone else's read made them feel, like it's all cool like that. And I think I really love the format.
Of the online workouts are great. So sign up, join us. We'd like to meet you, especially we love newbies that show up.
Love new people.
As well. All right. Well, thanks for joining me physically here in the studio, the Voiceover Gurus
such a pleasure.
studio. We do actually have a legitimate studio. The Long Island people know that, but now you know it too. And Dave Goldberg is also here too. He's too busy to come in and pop his head, but he is the one that produces the demos.
Dave.
And it's fantastic. So thanks, Alyssa.
It's my pleasure. Always.
And that wraps up another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast. We'll see you soon, and cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Voiceover Gurus podcast. Real talk about the voiceover industry. Learn more about us and get coaching at voiceover.guru.